CoreyAllenx here. It's been too long. I know. Let's get down to it. I'd like to talk about something that I've been thinking about extensively over the last couple of weeks. Here's the topic for the day. The cost of living. I was thinking as I was balancing my checkbook yesterday that I spend a lot of time keeping track of where my money's coming and where it's going. And it made me think, you schmuck, you spend a lot of time thinking about your money. But that's not all. I'm also increasingly more and more concerned about my caloric intake. So I'm usually keeping track of what I'm eating throughout the day and how many calories it has. Keeping track of how many times I've called, my loved ones in the course of the week or the month or the year. I'm keeping track of how many miles my car has, when I need to get the oil changed the next time. I'm thinking about how many minutes that I have left on my cell phone plan. Should I work on a new play today? How many times have I been to Starbucks today? All of these things that I'm keeping tabs on, that I'm really investigating. And in the middle of all this shit, I realize one thing that I haven't spent a lot of time keeping track of is how the things that I'm doing in my life on a day-to-day basis are ultimately contributing to my future success, my future happiness, or my future unhappiness. Here's my question for all of you. Have you ever given any thought to what it costs you to live the way that you do? If you get up in the morning and you go to your job and you only drive one way to work, there are many ways that you could get there, but you decide that you're only going to stay on this one path to work. What are you missing out on? What might you be preventing yourself from coming into contact with? If you refuse to talk to people of a different faith, of a different skin color, of a different sexual orientation, of a different economic class, what might you be missing out on? What does it cost you to keep limiting and divisive and discriminatory views towards other people? What does it cost you if you have filled your heart, your mind, your every waking hour with thoughts of hatred? And I know you might wonder, what difference does it make? And I ask you, what do you stand to gain if this day, today, you decide, I'm going to drive a different way to work. I'm going to go out of my way to talk to someone that I've never talked to before. Knowledge, empowerment, a renewed sense of community, a renewed sense of belonging. Well, I'll tell you this. I've begun asking myself a series of questions, and I challenge you to ask yourself these same things. How I can make each day of my life more meaningful than the one that came before. How I can become a better person today than I was yesterday. I know that I'm not perfect. I don't believe that perfection in that respect exists, but I think that it's the pursuit of perfection or the pursuit of excellence in one's daily life, in one's character, in one's way of being with other people that has the power to determine their future happiness. Now, I know this is the point where some of you are going to start being really upset with me, because I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you to ask yourself a question that I know you will not want to ask yourself and you will not want to answer. Ask yourself, what does it cost you to always have to be right? What does it cost you to always have to have the last word? What does it cost you if you decide that you're going to hold that grudge? I have seen a number of people who have been beat down, broke down, hurt, harmed, in ways that I will never understand. And I've seen those people let it go, set themselves free from that knot. Do you ever think about how much time you spend worrying about things that are out of your control? What does it cost you? Now trust me, I know these can be very difficult questions to ask yourself. But I find that when I begin to look at this, it always leads me to the same question. And this bigger question is what I'm going to ask you now. What are you willing to give up to be the best you that you can be? There are tons of things that we can all give up, things that are hindering us from growing emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. There are things that each and every one of us have in us or around us that may be preventing us from reaching our maximum potential. Let's get this ball rolling. Cost of living. What are you willing to give up to reach your maximum potential?
Is this thing that I feel